Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday and welcome to the Astro Room, where we discuss everything astrology. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you are new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast for the week of February 27th through March 5th, 2023. All right. So yeah, it is definitely Pisces season. That's all I have to say right now because I am feeling it. I am feeling it. My subconscious is very active right now. A lot has been coming up. It's been an interesting couple of first days of Pisces season. So let me know how Pisces season is for you. If you are here live in the chat, put something in the chat. Let me know how Pisces season is for you already. If you are watching this on the replay, hit that comment section and let me know how Pisces season is for you as well. All right. So let's let the good people over on Twitter know that we are live so that they can come and join us. All right. So before we get into the nitty gritty, as always, some housekeeping and announcements. So if you are joining me here on the live, thank you so much. Please don't forget to say hello on your way in and also hit that like button, please. And thank you. And even if you are watching this on the replay, definitely hit that like button. You're going to love this. You're going to love me, actually. I mean, I am your new favorite astrologer. Plus, I am just chock full of information. It's like, this is my purpose. This is what I do. And I love sharing this information with you guys, not just to hear the sound of my voice, but to help you guys, to help you live your best lives, to teach you all that I know. I can't help but share astrology because astrology has been so vital to me in my life. And I hope that it does the same for you. So hit that like button. You're definitely going to love it here. All right. So let's see. If you are interested in getting your weekly horoscope via text ZODIAC to, that didn't show up. I'm always trying to do these little overlays and sometimes it really doesn't work, but whatever. So text ZODIAC to 855-826-5544. You will get your weekly horoscope, quick and dirty weekly horoscope texted to your phone every Monday morning. All right. And if you miss that information, the information for that will be in the description box below. And as always, if you are new to astrology and you have no idea what's going on, or even if you're not new to astrology, but you're finding it hard to like put things to memory and sort of get things in a way that you can understand them, I created this thing called the Astrology Basics Cheat Sheet that basically gives you the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying astrology, mainly the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the planets, the houses, the zodiac signs, and the aspects. So it's an 11-page PDF document that, again, gives you the quick and dirty on all 4 pillars so that you can start committing them to memory, because despite what anyone may say, astrology is definitely, and when I say definitely, I mean definitely, it's definitely a science. And like any science, it requires a good deal of study. So this cheat sheet is here to help you. It's here to help you start studying and start committing these things to memory. And if you're interested, the link to that will be in the description box below. All right. So let's chat for a bit. All right. So I already explained that Pisces season is well underway. Okay. So the sun transited into Pisces last week. And so things are becoming a lot more sensitive. I feel like people are a lot more sensitive. I feel like the energy is a lot more sensitive. And I feel like we're really being urged at this time to really tap into our subconscious, to really tap into our inner world. There is no time like the present to tap into your inner world in order to create your outer world. Okay. I feel like I've been saying this ad nauseum for like weeks now, but seriously, Pisces season is definitely the time. And while there is this major focus on manifestation and reprogramming your subconscious, I feel like there's been a focus on this for quite some time, right? But more so during Pisces season because the astrology supports it. But the flip side to that, right, is, dealing with your shadow side. It's dealing with your subconscious. You know, we have been conditioned, we've been programmed with a lot of trash, a lot of filth, a lot of garbage, right? A lot of things that stop us from being our best selves, a lot of things that stop us from being empowered. And we don't even know it, right? Like we are just running. Many of us are still running on this old program, or we have remnants of this old program running in the background that is playing out in our 3D. And we kind of think that that's normal. And it's not until you really get on this journey, it's not until you really step into your God self that you realize that a lot of what we've been told, whether it's about ourselves, whether it's about our society or anything like that, is just simply not true. And a lot of these things are really either meant to benefit someone other than you, or it's just people rehashing their own traumas and projecting their own traumas onto you. And while this is a wonderful season to be manifesting, right? I mean, we're manifesting whether we think we are or not. It's sort of an automatic thing that we are hardwired to do as humans, right? But a large part of that is healing. And Pisces is the sign of Pisces. The energy of Pisces is very much concerned with service, with selflessness, with charity, but also healing. The Pisces Virgo axis, because Pisces and Virgo are sister signs, it's all about healing. Virgo is very much healing on the earthly realm, the physical body, the physicalness, our humanity. That is the essence of Virgo energy. And Pisces energy is healing our spiritual selves, our emotional selves. And while there are many people out there who will tell you or who are teaching that you can manifest without healing, you don't need to heal in order to manifest, which is partially true, right? Because like I said before, we are constantly manifesting, whether we're thinking of it or not. Like that's a given. Like I said, that's how we're hardwired. But manifesting without healing is like an uphill battle in the middle of a blizzard. Like it's super hard. And what's not to say that whatever you manifest, you're going to be able to hold on to or maintain if you're not healed, if you're not healthy, emotionally, subconsciously, and spiritually, right? And so I feel like as much as I preach about manifestation, I'm still going to be doing that. Pisces season is definitely going to be about healing also. And it's not easy. Right? I mean, you know how people tell you when you're on a weight loss journey, right? Especially when you're in the beginning of a weight loss journey, it's like, it didn't take you one day to put on the weight. So it's not going to take you one day to take it off, right? It's the same thing with emotional healing, with spiritual healing. Like you didn't get this programming in one day. For some of us, it's been a lifetime of programming that we are undoing, it's like you have to undo the old and install the new. It's like a software update, right? You're getting rid of the old programming and you're installing and updating a new one. And that takes time. Even with your computer, sometimes it takes a couple of hours or it could take overnight, right? It takes time. And so in this season of addressing our inner world, it's important to not just be selfless and charitable and all of that Pisces energy. It's not just about using that externally for everyone else. First and foremost, you have to give that energy to yourself. And so you need to be selfless with yourself. You need to have grace for yourself. You need to forgive yourself as you work through some of the things that may be difficult or revisiting traumas or anything like that. All right. So Pisces season, it's always an interesting season, right? It's always full of emotion. Number one. Number two, it's like we're getting ready for the new zodiacal year. So we're wrapping up loose ends. And number three, it's really intense. It's no coincidence that Pisces is symbolized by the two fish, because the fish can swim away. Pisces is the escape artist. All right. When things get too intense, Pisces just wants to escape. Pisces just wants to leave this realm and just escape reality. Right. And so there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's when we do that in place of doing the work that we need to do right now. It's when we numb ourselves to what we're feeling. Pain is not a bad thing. Pain is just an indicator of what needs to be fixed, if you look at it that way. So as intense as Pisces season is, a lot of good can come of it. And then when we get to Aries season, we're hitting the ground running because number one, we're healed, or at least I'm not going to say totally healed, because healing is a process, right? It's not linear. But we've healed some of our emotional issues or our traumas. And we've also worked on our inner world so that it's reflected to us in the outer world. So Aries season is pregnant with possibility if we do this difficult work right now during Pisces season. So hopefully, I wish you all a wonderful Pisces season. I hope that it's not too intense for you, but I hope that it allows you to plant the seeds that you can go forward into Aries season with and hit the ground running. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I went through it today. I had to do some work, some emotional work. I was triggered. I was traumatized. Like it was a lot. And I'm just like, you know what? And when I really sat and thought about it, I was like, yeah, it's Pisces season. Like what better time to address this? I mean, whenever something comes up, whenever you're triggered, that's obviously a time to address whatever you're feeling, right? But it's more so true during Pisces season, because this is when we are rearranging everything and when there's a focus on the subconscious. One of the things that I listened to today that really helped me, besides venting to my sister, was listening to Monique Ruffin, the Moon Mama, and shout out to her, because I find like she came into my life at such an important point, because whenever I'm feeling certain things, I'll just listen to her and she'll like really help me out. She's like a gem. So definitely check her out. She was talking about how, astrology is all about, when you study astrology and when you realize what astrology is and you implement it into your life, it's what allows you to flow with nature. And so Pisces season, being that it's the sign of the subconscious, this is when you work on the subconscious, not just the manifestation work, but the healing work as well. It's not to say that you can't do it during any other season, right? It's not like you can't do this during Aries season, but if the astrology is handing it to you on a silver platter, why not take it? Why not use it? So my message to you for this Pisces season is, like, as hard as it may be, as challenging as it may be, as arduous as it may be, it's time to do the work. And this work is never in vain. It's not just doing shit for no reason. Like, you are setting yourself up for the future. And it's no more true than now, because the way that the earth is shifting, the way that society is shifting, we are going into a new generation. We are going to a new frequency, whether you want to or not. You can decide to be conscious and do the work to enjoy this journey and enjoy the destination when we get there, or you could be kicking and screaming. The universe will drag you kicking and screaming. Like, the choice is yours. So do the work. And yeah, happy Pisces season. It's starting off real heavy. All right. But I promise, good stuff is definitely in the works and on the way. All right. So that's my diatribe for this week. All right. Let's get into the highlights and see what we've got going on for this week. All right, so first we have what I like to call Dream a Little Dream, and this is Mercury into Pisces. So the sun just went into Pisces last week, right? And Mercury is never too far behind the sun. So in that case, Mercury is also going into Pisces. And this allows you to really tap into your imagination. This is flowy communications, it's dreams, it's insights, it's intuition, it's telepathy, it's psychic impressions. It's all of those things that they teach you is not real or that's not important, right? Society is always like, well, imagination is for kids, psychic abilities, ESP, none of that stuff is real. It's real. And what I love about Mercury and Pisces is that it shows you that it's real. So this transit is allowing you to get out of your head. Even though Mercury is all about thoughts, it's all about communication, it's very cerebral energy. Mercury and Pisces is like, nah, get out of your head, get into your soul. So this is going to be a really interesting transit that we will enjoy for the next 2.5 weeks. All right. Then we have what I like to call conjunction junction, because there isn't much going on this week, but everything going on basically astrologically outside of the moon's transit is going down on Thursday, and it's 2 conjunctions. All right. And so conjunctions definitely represent concentrated energy. It's the blending of 2 or more planets. All right. And so we've got a Mercury-Saturn conjunction and a Venus-Jupiter conjunction on the same day, which is going to make for some interesting energy. All right. And I'll get into that a little later. And then we have what I like to call building momentum, all right, because we're in between the new moon and the full moon. So that means that the moon is waxing. So this is the time where we take action steps towards the things that we want to achieve, okay? We're making our way to the full moon in Virgo, and this week the moon is in Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, all right? So there's a lot of different things that we can do, a lot of different modalities that we can use to approach our goals and to work toward our goals, all right? But most importantly, above all else, with the waxing moon, you have to keep faith and optimism, all right? So interesting nonetheless. All right, so let's get into the week. Let's see what we've got. All right, so on Monday, today, we have the moon going into Gemini. It's actually in the waxing. It's actually in first quarter phase today. All right, then on Tuesday, we have the moon moving into its home sign of Cancer, right? Which is always a good look, but it can make you moody and sensitive. But again, I'll get into that a bit later. Then on Thursday, we have that cluster of astrological energy. We've got Mercury moving into Pisces. We've got Mercury conjunct Saturn, and we've got Venus conjunct Jupiter. Then on Friday, we've got the moon moving into Leo. And then on Sunday, we've got the moon moving into Virgo. All right, so let's see what we've got going on for the week. All right, so today, we've got the moon in Gemini. And you'll see that at the left-hand side of the chart, moon is at 0 degrees Gemini. All right, so Gemini moons are always very mixy. I think that the word I always use for Gemini energy is mixy because it is. It's all over the place. It's multitasking. It's lots of thoughts, lots of communication. It's very busybody kind of energy. And this busybody kind of energy is what makes us feel good because we're talking about the moon, which is all about emotions in the sign of Gemini. All right. So our basic instinct or our basic emotional desire is to communicate, to think, and to learn. Even though Gemini energy is very mixy, it's also great for learning specialized skills. So if there's something that you want to learn, let's say you want to learn more about crypto. Let's say you want to learn more about astrology. Maybe you want to learn more about the sous vide method in cooking, right? All of these specialized skills, learning about them definitely thrives while the moon is in Gemini, all right? So if there's something that you're interested in, next 2 days is really good time to at least start some kind of research or start some kind of learning because it's actually going to make you feel good, all right? So we're lighthearted, we're breezy, we're curious, we're restless, and very fickle. I always say that Gemini energy is very immature, and I don't mean that in a like Gemini is very childish or can't grow up, but it's very youthful. It's a very youthful kind of energy. And so when the moon is in Gemini, particularly when the moon is in the waxing phase in Gemini, it's really about, you know how kids are. They tend to be very restless. They tend to really want to do things and be all over the place. When the moon is waxing, we can use that energy to get ahead on our goals. This is when you may feel like multitasking. This may be when you want to research a lot more or talk to people who may know about what it is that you're trying to accomplish or what it is that you want to have. So it's very communicative. It's very social kind of energy, right? It's also a very busybody energy. And I find that whenever there's a Gemini transit, right? Usually when any sort of planet transits through Gemini, it always signifies some kind of a busy time. Whether you're just busy in your mind, things around you are very busy, or you've got lots of phone calls, text messages, emails, stuff like that, or teaching. You may be teaching a lot, or you may be learning a lot. The key word here is a lot because Gemini can be a lot, right? Very mixy. So this is what we have to look forward to, or the energy that we can use while the moon is in Gemini. Now tonight, the moon is in Gemini, but it's actually in the first quarter phase. And the first quarter phase is all about putting the past behind you. The first quarter phase is halfway between the new moon and the full moon. And so it's like, all right, we've left that new moon energy and we're making our way towards the full moon. And when we reach the halfway point, we're like, all right, we've already done what we've needed to do, or maybe we didn't do what we need to do, but we're just going to keep moving. We're not going to dwell on the past. We're not going to dwell on our mistakes. We're not going to dwell on what shoulda, coulda, woulda. We're going to keep it moving and take whatever lessons we've learned from new moon until now and use it to move forward to the full moon. All right. So that is tonight's first quarter moon in Gemini. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right, my love. So then on Tuesday, tomorrow, we've got the moon in Cancer. And so the moon is still going to be in the waxing phase, right? But we're moving from first quarter to waxing gibbous. All right. So quick lesson on the moon. So think of the lunar cycle is 28 days, right? It's 28 days. So you cut that in half and you've got 14 days. You've got 14 days of waxing, 14 days of waning. Then you cut that in half, right? And you get 7. So you've got 7 days of waxing crescent, 7 days of waxing gibbous. Then you've got 7 days of waning gibbous and 7 days of waning crescent. All right. And actually, I have it in the works to do a video on the lunar cycles and particularly the energy, how you can use the energy of the lunar cycles. That's going to be a video coming in the next few weeks. But suffice it to say, every week, the moon is in a different sort of phase, right? And so the waxing gibbous is that fever pitch energy. It's right before we get to the full moon, all right? And so being in the sign of Cancer with the waxing gibbous moon in Cancer, very sensitive, very moody. You know that Cancerian energy. It's nurturing, right? It's very loving, but it can be very defensive, very moody, and very crabby, of course. So with the moon in its home sign, we feel it a lot more. We're more in tune and more tapped into our emotions, all right? Which is fine for some, but is overkill and overwhelm for others, all right? So this is one of those moons. Whenever we have the moon in Cancer, I always feel like you have to just kind of keep people at an arm's length because people can be really in their feelings or just very defensive. All right. So take that information and do with it what you will. But if you really observe how people act when the moon is in Cancer, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. It's also, we have an instinctive need for peace and quiet. And it's interesting because when the moon is in Taurus, right, that's its sign of exaltation. That's when we want to be cozy and peaceful. But with Cancer, it's like when the moon is in Cancer, we kind of want to quiet all the noise around us and really get in touch with our emotions. And we just want peace and quiet to be emotional. You know, sometimes when you're in a bad mood and you really just don't want to talk to anybody, like you just want to be by yourself. You want to just either feel whatever you're feeling, process what you're feeling, or escape whatever you're feeling. But you kind of want to be by yourself while you do that. It's definitely like that moon in Cancer energy. All right. Now, the thing about moon in Cancer is that Cancer really represents our basic emotional needs. So things like love, protection, shelter, acceptance, those are the issues that may come up when the moon is in Cancer, right? That's kind of why people feel crabby because they may be feeling like their emotional needs aren't being met and they don't know how to fix that. They don't know how to make that work. But the good thing about moon in Cancer is that there's a lot of healing potential. A lot of healing can occur in Cancer. Every time I think of Cancer energy, I think of nurses. I feel like nurses are emblematic of Cancer energy, nurturing, healing, all of that kind of stuff. So that's sort of the energy that we have to play with when the moon is in Cancer. Now, things like domestic activities, home decor, just being at home or doing anything with family is where we derive our emotional satisfaction when the moon is in Cancer. So those are the things that you may want to do while the moon is in Cancer. You always hear that phrase, you got to take care of home first. That's sort of the essence of moon and Cancer energy. All right. And again, because we're in the waxing gibbous phase, these are the last action steps that you're going to take before the full moon, before your manifestation comes to fruition. So this is about remaining positive, having faith, and taking care of your basic emotional needs, taking care of home first. All right. That's how we best use the energy of the waxing gibbous moon in Cancer. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right, my love. So next we arrive at Thursday, and Thursday is the day of the week where we've got a lot going on. All right. So first we've got Mercury moving into Pisces. All right. I sort of alluded to that a bit earlier during the highlight section. Then we've got 2 different conjunctions. All right. So first we've got Mercury conjunct Saturn. So Mercury just moved into Pisces, as you'll see at the far right-hand side of the chart. And Saturn is still at 29 degrees Pisces. So even though they're not at the exact same degree, they are still conjunct. And if you want to know more about aspects, I just dropped a video on Friday about aspects, all right? Specifically the aspects portion of your natal chart and how to read it. Link will be in the description box below. Definitely check it out. It's chock full of information, all right? But needless to say, Mercury and Saturn are conjunct. So there's going to be this concentration of Pisces and Aquarian energy, all right, on the one hand. Then you'll notice the other bubble at the top right-hand portion of the chart. We've got Venus and Jupiter that are also conjunct, all right? And so they are, even though they're not exactly at the same degree either, they are still conjunct, and they are conjunct in Aries. Now, mind you, Chiron is also in the mix, okay? And that's going to be a little bit of an interesting time, but regardless, let's discuss all of this wonderful astrological energy. All right. So first up, we've got Mercury in Pisces. Now, I talked about how Mercury in Pisces allows us to tap into our inner world, tap into our imagination, which is fine, right? That is definitely the essence of Mercury in Pisces. But keep in mind that Mercury is in detriment in Pisces, meaning that it is not well placed. Mercury's home sign is Virgo. Virgo is opposite to Pisces. So with Mercury in the sign that is opposite its home sign, it's what's known as being in detriment. So think of Mercury energy generally, right? It's communication, it's thoughts, it's logic, it's little room for emotions. So Mercury in Pisces is feeling overwhelmed, right? It's feeling less than logical, perhaps a little irrational. You may be feeling like you are out of your mind because technically you are. You are not in the realm of your logical mind. You are in the realm of your soul, of your spirit, which is hard to navigate. You can't pin it down. The one thing about Virgo energy, which again is the sister sign to Pisces, is that Virgo needs evidence. Virgo needs evidence. It needs to analyze whatever is around it. You cannot analyze spirit. You can't, I want to say logicize, which is not a real word, but fuck it. I'm making it up right now. You want to logicize spirit, and you can't do that. And so Mercury it doesn't feel at ease. It feels uncomfortable, and it feels like it's in over its head. All right. Imagine being in the ocean and not being able to swim, and you've got no life vest. There's no boat here to save you. You are just dropped in the ocean, and you are basically told to sink or swim. That's why Pisces season can be so hard, especially because we've got the sun there, which is energizing all of this Pisces energy. And now we've got Mercury, which is like your thoughts are like all over the place, right? Now, because we're dealing with our subconscious mind, like I said, this is the hotbed for creation. This is where you plant the seeds. Anything that you want to see in your 3D reality, you plant it in your subconscious first. So with the Mercury in Pisces, this is literally the time to reprogram your subconscious, right? Like this is textbook sort of subject matter when it comes to manifestation. Like that's the best thing that I could say about Mercury in Pisces. However, Mercury in Pisces is going to have your mind focused on whatever's in your subconscious, and that can be a scary ass place. If you have a lot of unhealed trauma, emotional wounds, your shadow side that you've been ignoring, like that shit is going to come up, and that is going to consume your thoughts if you allow it to with Mercury in Pisces. So I don't want to say, it's like the first word that just came to my mind right now was dangerous. And dangerous in the sense that not that it could kind of kill you, but it could really drive you crazy. It could really have you feeling irrational. It could have you feeling scared. It could have you feeling all of the things that you feel in your subconscious. You're going to feel them more intensely because not only do we have the sun, which is energizing it, but we've got Mercury, so it's on your mind. This is why people go crazy. Why people need to be admitted into hospitals. Pisces represents the last sign. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and it's the natural ruler of the 12th house. It's no coincidence that the 12th house covers hospitals, prisons, insane asylums, okay? It's intense energy. It's intense, okay? But this is the work that we are here to do. You've got to take the good with the bad. It can't always be a a sun in Leo or sun in Sagittarius kind of a day, right? Where everything is optimistic, or you're following your heart and it's lighthearted energy. Like by virtue of being human, we have to deal with some heavy ass shit at times. And Pisces season may bring that up. Okay. And I say this to warn you, but I also say this to bring this to your consciousness. So it's not hitting you upside the head or you have no idea how to deal with it, right? You got to work through it. Okay. One of the things about Mercury and Pisces is that it also calls to our attention the fact that we need periodic time alone to regenerate and detox. Even though, so I said before, Pisces represents healing. So that's the detox element, right? This is detoxing your subconscious, detoxing your emotional being, your spiritual being, right? Your spiritual body. But the 12th house also represents rest and recharging, okay? The one thing that is like the saving grace of Mercury and Pisces is that it does get you out of your head if you allow it to. If you allow yourself to dwell within your subconscious, to dwell within your spiritual body, it gives your logical mind a break. And a lot of times we need that because we are hardwired to run on our logical brain. And that shit gets burnt out. Just like you may have a car that overheats, our brains definitely overheat at times. And so if you use Mercury and Pisces for what it is, although it may be seriously intense, it also gives your mind a break. It also gives you a chance to recharge. And we recharge through our spirit. It's like spirit is the plug. When you charge your phone, when you plug in your phone to charge at night, that outlet, that is like spirit. That's the symbolization of spirit. You got to plug in, you got to tap in. That's how you recharge. You recharge your body, your physical body. You recharge your mind, your logical mind. You also recharge your inner world. All right. So again, intense, but enlightening if you use the energy and don't allow it to use you. All right. That's the most important thing. The next up, we've got Mercury conjunct Saturn. And it's like, of these two conjunctions that are happening on the same day, it's like one is positive and one is negative. And Mercury conjunct Saturn is kind of the negative one. All right. It is going to be confronting your fears, confronting your programming, confronting your spiritual body, confronting everything that's in your subconscious. And it's going to bring that shit to the forefront of your mind, okay? Now, Saturn is still in Aquarius. It's not transiting into Pisces until next week. And it's at that 29th degree of Aquarius, which is called, anytime a planet is at the 29th degree of a sign, it's called the anaretic degree. And that is the degree of all degrees. It's like when the energy of that planet reaches a fever pitch. It's like super heightened, super intense energy. And if you're familiar with the tarot, Saturn, that energy of Saturn is representative of the Devil card, right? Anything that's been keeping you stuck, anything that's been an obsession, anything that's been keeping you grounded, trapped, a prisoner, right? Anything that's been keeping you prisoner or holding you hostage is going to be addressed or is going to come to the forefront of your thoughts around Thursday. You may even start feeling this already. Okay. I know I definitely have. This is confronting your fears. This is confronting everything that has, like I said, been holding you back, been holding you down, been keeping you prisoner. Okay. Now, the one saving grace for this particular transit is that it allows you to have a somewhat common sense approach to it, right? Because we've got Sun in Pisces. We've got Mercury in Pisces. We also have Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces kind of distorts reality. It's almost like, when you're a kid maybe and in your room, you've got maybe a chair full of clothes and it's at night, and the way that the light is coming through your window, it casts a shadow that looks like a monster and it looks larger than life, right? But in reality, it's just a pile of clothes on a chair in the corner of your room. I feel like that is sort of what we're going to be experiencing with all of this astrological energy this week. It's like our fears may be much larger than our reality. And sometimes the way that I look at that is that, all right, if it feels larger than life, it means that I need to pay attention to it. But also, I feel like because the sun is in Pisces, it's also going to show us the truth about these things. It's not just to scare us. It's not just to make us feel a certain way. It's to show us that our perception is not necessarily our reality, which is a good thing. And because we have the sun in Pisces, we've got Mercury in Pisces, we're able to really reprogram our subconscious and create our reality. We can say, all right, this fear that I've had, this trauma that I had, it's not real. It doesn't represent real life. It doesn't represent where I'm going. I can let it go. It doesn't affect me anymore. I don't have to let it hold me prisoner anymore. I can let it go and I can focus on what it is that I want to create. The thing that's going to make this a bit difficult is the feeling part of it. If you have a fear, if you have a trauma that feels larger than life, you are really going to feel it right now. That Pisces energy, like I said, it's intense. It's all about feelings. You're really going to feel it. But you have to use, in this one instance, because of this particular conjunction, use your logical mind to realize that it is not your reality. Even though it may feel, whatever it is, may feel really scary, may feel really hurtful, may feel really intense, that is not your reality. You can let it go. So even though this conjunction is not the most positive, it is the most eye-opening. And like I said, it allows you to reframe your reality. That's the name of the game. Like, of course, I've been saying this ad nauseum for weeks now, but this is really the name of the game during Pisces season. All right. There's a lot to learn. Okay. And the one thing about Saturn energy is it represents authority figures. So you may find that a lot of what you're feeling, a lot of what you're going through may stem from authority figures, particularly like a father or a father figure. That's sort of the essence of Saturn. So some of us may be undoing programming that we learned or that we inherited from our fathers or our father figures, or even people like bosses, mentors, things like that. So that sort of gives you a clue as to where some of these things are coming from. But also, you may find that authority figures may be helpful with this. Remember, I said Pisces is all about healing. So you may be able to find solace. You may be able to find healing in authority figures in your life, or people who may be older, or people who are mentors. They may have a lot of knowledge to impart upon you that can help you heal through whatever you are working towards. Okay, so that's sort of the saving grace of this particular transit. And again, this is Mercury conjunct Saturn. All right. Again, may not feel the best, but it definitely will be eye-opening. And then, thankfully, the universe throws us a nice curveball with Venus conjunct Jupiter. These are the two most positive planets in our solar system, in our astrological makeup, and they're going to be conjunct in the sign of Aries. All right. And what I love about this is that it's love, it's happiness, it's feel good energy. So it's like the universe is like, all right, you're going through some heavy shit right now, but I'm gonna give you a little something. I'm gonna bless you with a little something good. This could be good news, good fortune, could even be a windfall of money. Now, because both of these planets are in the sign of Aries, it's about taking action, especially towards the things that you desire. Okay. Anything that you desire, anything that you want to have, if you will take action steps towards it, I feel like not only will it bestow good fortune on you, right? Because again, fortune favors the bold. But remember I said during the chart, and let me put the chart back up for you. You've got Venus and Jupiter towards the upper right-hand part of the chart. You've got Venus and Jupiter plus Chiron is there. All right. And I'm going to do a whole separate video on Chiron because it can be a lot. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's healing, and in healing yourself, you provide a healing blueprint for others. But here's the thing. That healing work that you need to do, it requires action. And if you take that action, the universe is going to bless you. All right. So it can be very healing and cathartic to take action towards what you desire right now. That is going to offset this intense healing and conquering your fears and the whole subconscious thing. Everything that I spoke about before, I feel like Venus conjunct Jupiter allows you to, experience goodness, experience happiness, experience love if you'll take the first step. And in taking that first step, it's going to be very healing, right? It's almost like you are overcoming your fears. You are overcoming everything that you're working through. And it's like spirit immediately realizes it and immediately blesses you. That's what I love about this particular configuration on Thursday. So keep in mind that, yeah, it may feel really shitty. Yeah, it may feel very intense. It may be hell. You may feel like you are traversing hell right now, but it is not for no reason. It's not in vain. If you take those steps, if you do the work, the spirit will bless you almost immediately, because that's the essence of Aries energy. Aries energy is taking immediate steps for immediate results. Okay. So keep the faith, because there may be some blessings in disguise. There may be some unexpected good fortune coming your way that you didn't expect. Okay. So Thursday is going to be intense. I'm not even going to say Thursday, because I know this energy is already active. So between now and next week, I feel like we're all going to be going through some sort of iteration of this. And it just reminds us that, excuse me, we are all one. We're all going through this shit. So we need to have grace and compassion for each other. Okay. No matter how hard things get. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right, love. So then on Friday, we've got the moon moving into Leo, and I love this. All right, you'll see at the bottom left-hand portion of the chart, the moon is at 0 degrees Leo. So I was just saying, like, moon in Pisces, sun in Pisces, Pisces season, heavy, intense. It can't always be like sun in Leo energy. Moon in Leo energy lightens things up a bit. All right. We're still in the waxing phase. It's going to be the waxing gibbous phase. So this is about taking action towards, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, taking those last sort of action steps. But it speaks to our inner child. Moon in Leo is always lighthearted. It's always a focus on fun. It's always a focus on what your heart wants, romance, creativity. It's really like that feel-good kind of stuff. It's very heart-centered energy. So amidst all of this intensity, we have a reprieve, I feel, on Friday with the moon in Leo. Okay, so this is about, again, being creative, being childlike, addressing your inner child, having fun, being silly, engaging in entertainment. You don't have to we have enough serious energy to go around all week, right? And I love that this moon in Leo is going down on Friday. It's the weekend. Enjoy yourself, have some fun, be lighthearted, and take your mind off of things for a while, right? Just tap into your inner child and just have some fun. And I seriously love that for us on Friday. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, my loves. And then we close out the week with the moon moving into Virgo. Okay. So Virgo is a far cry from Leo energy, very different kind of energy. It's about getting organized. It's about practicality, practical activities, reorganizing, rethinking, that very anal kind of Virgo energy, right? A lot of people don't like it, but it serves a purpose. And so we start next week off with this energy, which is a good thing, right? We always need to get not energized. We always need to get, reorganized. We always need to be a little more efficient. And this is when we tend to our health. Remember, I said Virgo is the sister sign to Pisces, and Pisces and Virgo are both about healing. But whereas Pisces is about spiritual well-being and spiritual healing and emotional healing, Virgo is about physical healing. It's about your body. It's about your practical day-to-day life as a human and healing that. And so this is going to be, I feel like Moon in Virgo is really great for self-care Sundays, okay? Because taking care of ourselves, doing things that are healthy, I mean, you should do that every day, right? But the fact that this is going down on Sunday, on a Sunday, the first thing that just popped into my head right now was self-care Sunday. So this is one of those days where, you meal prep. This is where you do your whole skincare routine. You address health issues. You take care of yourself. It's a good day to spend the Sunday, because I love when you spend a productive Sunday that helps you get set up for the week, right? It's like one of the things that I used to do a lot is I used to brunch a lot, right, on Sundays. And, bottomless mimosas used to definitely get the best of me. I'm not even gonna lie. And I would always find that it would make for kind of a shitty week because you get home at like 8 p.m. You're still low key half drunk, right? You're not preparing for the week. You're not setting yourself up for a week of success. You feel like you're sort of just dragging yourself through the week, right? You're like trying to do just the bare minimum that you need to do just to get through to the next weekend. And that's the worst. I feel like that's the worst way to live. Not to say that you shouldn't enjoy some bottomless mimosas at brunch. You should. But you also should set yourself up for success. And I feel like that's the essence of Virgo energy. It's getting organized and getting yourself prepared for the week, the month, whatever that Virgo energy is pertaining to. In this case, it's the week. Because it's on Sunday, self-care Sunday, right? And if you're going to enjoy the bottomless mimosas, drink water in between each one. I think it'll keep you a little less drunk. And so you can leave a little more refreshed so you can set yourself up for a week of success. All right. Pro tip from Mel. All right. So my loves, that concludes this episode of the weekly astro forecast for the week of February 27th through March 5th. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going forward into the week. All right. If you want to know more about any of my products, services, or videos, all of that information will be in the description box below. So don't forget to check that out. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. All right, my loves. Love you. Take care. Bye.